Welcome to Rollerset to Mindset, the podcast where women 50 plus rediscover clarity, courage, confidence, and bliss as they create the next chapter of life. I'm your host, Angela B. Fuller, and today's episode is special because it's Mother's Day. So, whether you are a mother or a grandmother or an auntie or a bonus mom, or even a mother figure, or if you are someone who is healing from the absence of a mother, I want you to know that you are seen, you are valued, and you are celebrated. So let's take a moment to honor the blessed woman that you are in every season of life. First of all, I would like to say that you are a legacy maker. And what do I mean by that? This morning, I was reminded of 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 5, where Paul speaks of the sincere faith that lived first in Timothy's grandmother Lois and in his mother Eunice. That scripture just doesn't talk about family. It talks about legacy. Mothers leave more than memories. Did you hear that? Mothers leave more than memories. They leave mindsets. They plant seeds of belief. They plant seeds of self-worth and resilience, even if imperfectly. And so we cannot help be part of who our grandmother, our mother, our auntie was and who they were or still are in our life. And we pick up the mindset of those we spent our time with, those women who poured into us when we were growing up. And so we become part of who they are. So today I want to speak directly to you. You don't need a holiday to validate your worth, because some of us feel like it has to be a special day like Mother's Day, or it has to be your birthday, or it has to be Christmas, something special, you know what I mean? But what I want you to know that is you are the blessing. That's right, you are the blessing. And also that you are the example for those coming up, for the example of those younger women who are watching us. So I know sometimes that can feel like a lot of responsibility, but I want you to know that you can handle it. And if you've been feeling lost in this season, I know sometimes I do. I get that feeling of I have lost my direction and I have to take some time to recalibrate and get myself back on track. So, if you are feeling lost in this season of change, I want you to know this, that legacy doesn't stop. The legacy that came before you from the women who came before you, it hasn't stopped. Legacy evolves. And I think right now, a lot of us mothers, a lot of us women are in that stage of evolution. When we think about our next chapter of who we'd like to become, of how we would like our world to look like, our lives to look like, um, the most powerful thing that we can do is to accept the fact that you are constantly becoming, and that your next chapter could be the most powerful one yet, because it's the one that you write for yourself, not the one that our great grandmothers or our grandmothers or even our mothers wrote for us through conditioning our mind from their own experience. I think that in this season, I think women need to recognize that we can write and create our own legacy. And I know that may sound scary. It may leave you with a feeling of guilt, but your life is yours. Your life has been given to you. Certain gifts and characteristics and blessings and ideas and imagination have been placed in you. And there are certain things that you are to let out on this earth to create your legacy. And I want to encourage you not to leave this earth with any of that buried in you. And so you say, well, Angie, how do I make that happen? I'm glad you asked, because I'm going to tell you. I created a methodology. It's called the Fuller Lifestyle C Cubed B Method. C Cube, 3 C's: clarity, courage, and confidence. And the B stands for bliss. Because once you become aware of a thing and you get clarity in that thing, it creates a level of courage in you. And courage propels you to take action. And through action, you develop the confidence to keep going, to dream again, to imagine again. And with clarity, courage, and confidence, what you end up doing is creating a life of joy, creating a life that you can be proud of, creating a life of bliss for yourself. You know, you're creating your own legacy. You have the power within you to do that. So let's talk about the first pillar of the C Cube B method, and that is clarity. So my question to you is, and if you are watching this podcast on YouTube, I want you to take a minute and write in the comment, what do you need to release in this season? Think about that for a second. What do you need to release in this season? There's so much that could fill that box. Is it guilt? Is it anger? Is it disappointment? Is it fear? Is it feeling stuck? What do you need to release in this season? In other words, what version of motherhood or of womanhood are you still holding on to that no longer reflects who you are becoming? Not who you've been in the past, but who you dream of becoming, of who you have prayed to become, of who you imagine to become. That is what I want you to think about. That is what I want you to write on pen and paper or in the comments, or a word that defines where you are and who you need to become, and what is holding you back from becoming that person. The second pillar in the C Cubed B method is courage. Oh, Lord, courage. Courage. Courage is so powerful, because when you have courage, you do it scared. You do it when it's not perfect. You do it when you don't have all the answers. Because this is what I believe. This is what I've encountered. It takes courage to say, I love my children. You know, I love my partner. I love my family. But I am not just a mother. I am not just a sister. I am not just an aunt. I am a woman becoming. It takes courage to say that statement out loud, because you don't know how it's going to be received by the people who love you and you love. So today, I give you permission. I give you permission to become again and sit with that and see, excuse me, see what that feels like. See how that rests in your body. See what that does. Saying that, see what it does to your nervous system. See what it does to your psyche, and let it process through and keep going. Don't fight it. Don't resist it. Just acknowledge it, but keep going. The third pillar is confidence. And I'm going to ask you, confidence comes when we do a thing, not perfect, but when we do a thing again and again and again. and we make it better with each time. So you don't gain confidence by thinking about it. I have found from my own experience, I have gained confidence by doing, by making a mistake, by it being less than perfect. And I and I do it scared. And I do it hoping that I'm not judged. I also do it by saying, what are people going to think about me? What are my friends are going to think? What is my husband going to think? What is my family going to think? But I do it anyway. And each time I do it, I stand in it and I become confident in it. So when was the last time you walked into a room and you didn't have to question your value? You didn't have to compare yourself. You didn't have to feel smaller. Think about that for a second. Write in the comments if you would. If something hit you with that question, I want you to write in the comment. If you're watching this podcast on YouTube, write how that made you feel. But this is what I want you to know. I want you to know that you still got it. You still got it. Because here's the thing, confidence doesn't have to be bold and loud and here I am. No, no. Confidence is when you can walk into a room and just feel the room out, acknowledge the room. And instead of walking in boldly, you walk in and you look around and you look for the woman who feels unsure of herself or who looks timid, and you energetically acknowledge her and say, oh, there you are. You walk into a room and you exude light for someone who is in a place of darkness. That's my definition of confidence anyway. So, what I want you to realize is God never uncalled you. You were pronounced good from the beginning. You were pronounced marvelous from the beginning. You were made in his image and his likeness from the beginning. He took his time with you. So you can confidently walk into a room knowing that you're good. Now let me see let me see what woman I could help feel good as well. So I get it. I know sometimes you feel tired. I know sometimes you feel alone, but I want you to know that you're not done. You're just getting started. And confidence doesn't come from the applause. You don't need the applause. It comes from the awareness. Did you hear me? It comes from the awareness of who you are in Christ and knowing your power, exuding your power, being able to share your power so that it lights up the entire room. Not for your sake, but for the sake of those who are existing in darkness. The third pillar is bliss. Oh, bliss. I just love the word bliss. It sounds good. So, but understand now, bliss is not about a bubble bath. That's not it. Bliss is not about giggly going through life. No, that's not what it is. Bliss, in my opinion, is about alignment, being in alignment, being intentional, going through life knowing what you want, but even if you don't get it, when you think you should get it, you don't give up hope. You're still good. It's the anticipation that you know it is going to work. It has to work or it has to work, but not anxiously believing that. It's about walking and waking up. Once you wake up, it's about waking up and knowing that you are walking in your divine purpose. So that's why it's so important to start with the first pillar of clarity. Oh, once you get clear, honey, you are unstoppable. So understand that bliss is about waking up and knowing you are walking in your divine purpose, even if the world never claps for you. Did you get that? Because you don't get your validation from the world. You get your validation from who God says you are and believing it and walking in it. You know, that's where your validation comes from. Not from who said it. No, 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 no. Because some people get it wrong every time. Some people get it wrong intentionally. So walk with your own intention, knowing that bliss is that peace that surpasses all understanding, all of it. And baby, it's available for you today, every day, because that joy does not stop flowing. So let me put you in a state of receiving. I want you to close your eyes, okay? And I want you to say this with me, okay? You can put your hand on your heart, and I want you to say silently to yourself, I am a legacy maker. I am more than my role as a mom, as a grandmother, as an auntie. I am a radiant soul. God is not done with me yet. This chapter is mine to write. I walk in clarity, courage, confidence, and bliss because I am a blessed woman. And that is the truth about you, yesterday, today, and always. You may open your eyes, look at yourself, and just embrace yourself. Find a mirror, look at yourself, and embrace the gift, the masterpiece that you are. And so as I come to an end of this episode, this is what I want you to do. If this message touched your heart today in any way, I invite you to share it with another woman. Don't keep it to yourself, because she might need, I don't care how she's look on the outside, she might need to hear this message to be reminded of her worth. And if you haven't joined yet, I want you to head on over to the Fuller Life Chapter Hub on School. It's a free community. It's real, and it's where this transformation continues. I will put the link in the notes, and I want you to consider being a part of what we are building. It is in its baby stage, but that means you get to be a part of the growth, okay? So to every woman listening out there, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day. And this is what I want you to know. I want you to know that your next chapter starts not with perfection, but with giving yourself permission. I'll talk with you soon, okay? Bye. Mwah.